And then you've got the question on what's going to happen after this, the messaging, right? Who gets to say that they ended the government shutdown? Is it going to be the Democrats, or at least the 8, or is it going to be the Republicans saying, look, they held everything up, they didn't even get what they wanted, what did we even do that for?
I think everyone's going to walk away arguing that they won. That's usually how these things work around here. From a policy perspective, I mean, Republicans, they held firm. They refused to give in on the healthcare issue, which was at the heart of the shutdown fight. And like I said, Democrats did not get what they were trying to achieve necessarily. On the flip side, though, they did get the upper hand, perhaps, when it comes to the political argument. Now they're going to be able to say that it's Republicans who chose, especially if they don't get the bill in December passed. Democrats are going to argue that Republicans are the one choosing not to address this healthcare crisis, and that they're the party own these high premiums that are set to take place all around the country. And so I think there's multiple angles to look at this fight. Politically, certainly there's a lot of anger in the Democrats. Said this shouldn't be about politics. This should be about solving issues for the everyday American. And there are millions of people who are not going to be able to afford their health insurance because of this ACA subsidy extension.
Interesting. And Mel, just to kind of rewind here, because when this all started, it's so interesting to see the messaging change and evolve and things get forgotten. But there was a lot of nuance in the reason why there was a fight in the first place. And so much of it had to do with subsidies possibly going to undocumented immigrants in certain states, right? And yet that wasn't specifically spelled out in the legislation. How did we go from that to this? And somewhere along the lines, like a lot of the undocumented immigrants and illegal immigration kind of got put to the wayside.
Yeah, that was one of the early talking points that we heard from Republicans. It was false, misleading at best. There was an initial CR, a Democratic CR, that they were voting on initially with the first 5 or 10 times they were voting on the Republican plan to reopen the government. They were also doing a side-by-side vote with a Democratic proposal. And in that proposal, the Democrats were trying to repeal some of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, so-called One Big Beautiful Bill Act that was passed earlier this summer, which did have restrictions on undocumented immigrants getting health care. But we should be clear here. Already they are barred from receiving federal benefits from Medicaid. So the idea that Democrats were trying to give health care to undocumented immigrants, not necessarily true. But that is not what the talking points have been from the Republican Party in the last few weeks. What they're focusing on is the fact that they got Democrats to essentially cave here, and that they didn't give in an inch, and that Democrats didn't get anything they wanted, and Republicans got what they wanted, which was an extension of funding now until January 30th.
And Mel, it does look like, well, you're probably seeing the same notes that I am, but it does look like Senator Roger Marshall has cast his vote. Does this spell the end here?
Well, it's not final until it's final. I'm going to wait until the gavel comes down. Everyone has voted at this point. Usually afterwards, they give an opportunity for anyone to change their vote. And it looks like, according to my colleague, Frank Thorpe, they just called the vote. 60-40 was the final tally. That means this is a huge step towards reopening the government, Gadi. They just passed this bill, like I said, with 8 Senate Democrats supporting the measure. Now it heads over to the House, where, like we've been talking about, it's going to get a vote on Wednesday. That's because members are not in town in the House. They're being called back to D.C. Once they get here, though, it will be all about whether the House has the votes to pass it. GOP leadership, though, expressing confidence that they will. Gadi.
Melanie, Zanona, thank you so much.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or watch live on our YouTube channel.